Good afternoon, Colonel Country, and welcome to episode 4 of Colonel's Corner Under Quarantine. Our guest today is women's soccer alumni, Elena Denger. Elena, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us.
Happy to be here.
Now, Elena, obviously the last couple of months have been a different time for all of us with the pandemic and the quarantine. What have you been up to since the quarantines were put in place and the pandemic kind of became widespread?
Yeah, well, the pandemic really hit hard during my last couple rotations of pharmacy school. So I was actually rotating through a Wegmans pharmacy at the time where it was like mid-March, and that was when like everything blew up. So I was in a Wegmans, and I actually got to see like firsthand all the panic buying and like all of like crazy people asking for like hand sanitizer and gloves and masks and all that stuff. And like one of my last days, they like cut that rotation a couple days short and sent us home just for like safety to have students like not out in like the general public. And then my last rotation was transitioned into a virtual rotation. So I was able to be involved in like helping teach the younger pharmacy students and like get them prepared for their upcoming rotations and things like that. So that was the beginning of the pandemic. And then I moved out to State College at the end of May to start my position as a pharmacy resident. So that's what I've been doing since. Being in healthcare, my life didn't really change too much. Like, you know, we still have to go to work. We just have to wear masks and stuff. And maybe we won't have as much patient load, but we're still seeing patients in clinic and stuff like that. So I can't say too much has changed since the pandemic, other than I didn't have a graduation ceremony, which was a huge bummer, but it is what it is.
I feel the same way. I actually just finished my master's, and I'm gonna have to wait till next year. But you know what? I already had one graduation, so that's good enough. Now,
yeah, it's like anticlimactic. I'm like, what? You know? Oh, and I was studying for my boards, and I took those and all that stuff too.
So the Wegmans that you worked at, was that the one in Wilkes-Barre?
No, it was the one in Allentown, like near home. It was like 35 minutes from my house. So.
Darn, I like that one in Wilkes-Barre. But yeah. I digress. Moving on. So you were a 4-year member of the women's soccer team. How would you say the 4 years spent with the program kind of shaped who you are today?
The 4 years that I spent with Wilkes Women's Soccer were possibly the best years of my life, honestly. Like looking back now that I'm like removed from it, I miss it so much. I actually just texted Coach Samosky probably last week and was like, hey, thinking of you. I miss soccer so much. So it definitely shaped me to be the person I am today by building the friendships that I got through that program, teaching me how to work hard, teaching me how to time manage, how to deal with multiple different people within a team, so multiple different like personalities and how to interact with everyone. I definitely think it's helped me as I've transitioned into like a pharmacy resident with like time management, stress management, knowing myself and knowing what I can and can't take and can't do in like terms of stress level and stuff. So I would absolutely do it again if I had the opportunity. I think the only thing, I actually tried to play an indoor game over the winter time. And I tried to play at the same speed that I used to play at, you know, when I was at the peak. And my body didn't like that for like the next 2 weeks. I felt like an old woman. I felt like I needed hip replacements and knee replacements and everything else. It was bad. So, but I miss it a lot. I miss like the camaraderie.
I remember the first time I tried playing my sport after, and it was probably about the same experience.
Yeah, I like got back on the field and I was like, oh my God, like I love soccer so much. I'm running all over the place. The next, like I said, 2 weeks was like, yikes. I was hurting. It was bad.
Getting old is rough. Let's talk about I say probably, but most likely the biggest experience that the Wilkes University women's soccer program has had in the last couple of years. When the team advanced to the first round and well, I say first round, the first and second round of the NCAA tournament. Obviously, it was highlighted by our first round win with Michaela Oliverio
Hmm.
scoring an amazing bicycle kick that actually made its way to Sports Center. Uh,
Yeah.
just what was that experience like for you, being in that kind of atmosphere and playing against nationally ranked teams on consecutive days?
It really was so awesome, and I will forever remember that. I'll forever remember the feelings that we had. I actually, after we won that first game, I was like crying tears of joy. I was like, oh my God, like we're still kicking, like we're still going to be able to go on to the next level. I'm still going to be able to play with these girls. Like they were and still are like a family. I'll always remember how how we would have like our dance parties in the locker rooms, super non-traditional. We would listen to like Moana and like like Disney tunes. But that's how our team was. We were just like we all got together or got along so well, and like we were all so goofy. And then as soon as we hit the field, we were like all business, which was just awesome.
Yeah, I was with you guys that entire trip, so it was definitely a fun experience for everyone involved, especially to see you guys succeed on the national stage like that. It was awesome.
Yeah, it sure was.
So you as you mentioned, you just finished the program at the Nesbitt School of Pharmacy here at Wilkes. Um, any student that may be looking to come and be a part of that program, maybe not so much as an athlete, but just as a general student, what does the program offer them, and how does it prepare them for their potential future as a pharmacist?
I would recommend the Wilkes Pharmacy program to anyone that asks. It is a smaller program. It has the benefit of having, I think we max out at 72 students, which is amazing because all the professors know you by name. You know your classmates. Your professors know like nuances about you, like you'll pass them in the hallway, and for me as an athlete, they would ask me like, when's my next game? How did the last game go? Some of the professors would come to my games. It's a really tight knit community, which is really awesome. And while it may not be like known across the nation as like this awesome pharmacy program, the people that know about the Wilkes Pharmacy program only have good things to say. When I was out on my rotations, I got comments from like probably 3 or 4 of my preceptors saying like Wilkes Pharmacy students are some of the best students that come through our program. And I think it's because of the fact that we are able to have the connections that we have with our professors. And we're not just like lost in the shuffle. Like if we're hurting in a subject, like the professor's going to pull us aside and be like, hey, let's meet next week. We can talk about it. Like I have time, you have time. We're going to make this work and we're going to help you succeed. Also, we have the benefit of having the guaranteed seat program. So it's a 6-year straight through, which is really awesome. So you do 2 years undergrad, and as long as you meet certain requirements, you automatically get your position within the School of Pharmacy, and then you stay on through there. So some schools will have you do it in 8 years, whereas Wilkes, you have the opportunity to do it in 6.
So how did you handle being a student athlete and a pharmacy student?
Um, well, some days are better than others, certainly. I know for a fact that if I went to like, let's see, Duquesne, I think is D1 soccer, and they also have a pharmacy program, or maybe Temple too. If I went to one of those schools, I wouldn't have been able to do both. There's no shot. I think that I got by with my, like, what's the Beatles song? I get by with a little help from my friends. Like, my pharmacy school friends were, like, we were all in group chats, like, keeping each other, like, on top of due dates and, like, stuff like that. We would have study sessions. Coach Simoski was really awesome with making sure that he was on top of us. If we were slipping in a class, like, saying, okay, you're not going to practice tonight because you have a big exam coming up, right? Like, go and do that. Like, whereas I think some other coaches might not do that. Some other coaches might be like sports first. Coach Simoski was really, really awesome in the fact that he found us a good balance, and he knew that like we had to get our degrees and we had to succeed in that. Like soccer was, while he didn't want to say it was secondary, like he almost knew it, and somehow he found that balance. So like I said, some days were better than others, but for me, soccer, while it was creating some stress in my life and in the like time management and stuff, it was also my release. Like I had 2.5 hours or 2 hours where I had to be at practice, and that was my time where I could decompress and just focus on soccer and then get back to my schoolwork. And I still stick with that, even if I have like a whole bunch of due dates going on, a whole bunch of different projects that I have to work on now. Like I'll take my time and I'll go to the gym for an hour because that's my time for myself. So soccer like instilled that in me to take time for myself so that I can reboot and be able to give my best to whatever I have to give to.
And you were all conference, so you must have been doing something, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
So now let's talk about the Wilkes-Barre area. You were here for 6 years. What were some of your favorite places to visit while you were here?
To visit, I loved to go to Seven Tubs. That was always a good hike. Me and Britt Guerreri would go. We'd take her dog and go hiking there. Where else did I like to go? Well, I loved to go to Hillside. Like, how could you not like the ice cream? And walking to Hillside. And then what was the ice cream place in town, Diamond City Dairy, and like that back little alley. Do you know what I'm talking about? Are they still open?
I have no idea. I always saw that, and that's the place across from the movie theater, right?
Yeah.
I always wanted to go there, but I just never did.
Oh, it was the bomb. I would go there too because you could just walk there. Those would probably be the 3 places that come to mind. I still miss Hillside. Like that ice cream is the bomb.
So I'm guessing you really like ice cream then.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Sure do.
So what would you say is your favorite restaurant in the area?
Ooh. Well, immediately Jerry's comes to mind. Jerry's versus Angelo's. I like Jerry's pizza. And then I also used to like to go to Sushi Sundays. Up at, what is it, the Woodlands?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't really eat out too much. Like I would always cook for myself, but if I was going to eat out, it was going to be at Sushi Sunday or at Jerry's, or sometimes, oh shoot, what's the place that has a really good breakfast special? Sweet Treat.
Sweet Treat, yeah.
Yeah. That was a good Sunday morning place to go.
I've actually never had Jerry's, and I've surprisingly never been to Sweet Treat. And I've been here for 5 years.
You gotta go. Have you had Angelo's?
Angelo's I can house. I'm not
Okay.
embarrassed to say I'm pretty sure I've eaten 2 pies by myself one time.
Absolutely. Easily. Yeah. Yeah, I think Jerry's is better, but they're really very similar.
Well, hopefully no Angelo's fans watch this video then. Who would you say is the funniest teammate that you played with while you were at Wilkes?
Oh.
I don't want you to hurt any feelings with this.
I don't know if I can narrow it down.
Well, just give us a general list. Who are the funny teammates that you played with?
Funny teammates that I played with. Obviously, you've met with and interacted with Michaela. She's a goon. She's a total clown. So much fun. You never really know quite what's going to come out of her mouth. So she's always a crack up. Emma Sapovic, also a goofball. She's a lot of fun. I loved playing with Emma, like on the field as well. She and I had played together in club, and we had a really good chemistry. We knew like exactly where each other was going to be. So I loved playing with Em. And then I loved like Allie, Pete, Delphina, and Sam, like the 3 of them, and their interactions with each other just cracked me up.
I've seen Allie and Sam and Delphina around, and I can confirm that they're both weird and very hilarious.
They're goons, absolute goons.
In the nicest way possible, they're weird and hilarious.
Oh my gosh, yeah. They're just, and it's so funny because Allie Pete, she was like so quiet when she first came onto the team, and we're like, what's her deal? Like, what's going on with this girl? And then like midway through season, we're like, oh my God, why didn't you talk? Like, you're so funny. You're so much fun to be around. She's just a ball of energy. Who else? Jess Egan is actually really hilarious. Her and Em, both of them are really funny. And I got to get like closer with them as we were all wing backs. But they're like on the sly, like funny, and they'll just make like little comments, or they'll laugh at like something that I say, and then I know that they have like a good sense of humor and stuff, you know, because but
Because
yeah,
you are also hilarious.
because I'm hilarious. No, but I knew that like we kind of like shared the same sense of humor, so they were always fun. Like I said, it's kind of really hard to narrow down. I think I just named like 7 teammates. But yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of funny people out there. So, I mean, naming multiple teammates just means you had a lot of good teammates over the years.
Yeah, like I said, those were some of the best years ever. Like I'm never gonna get that time back, but I sure want it back. I want to see all those girls again and play with them again.
So, last question: do you have any pets?
Sore subject. I want a pet. I sure want a pet. My apartment complex allows pets, and I would get a dog in a heartbeat.
What kind of dog
But
would you get?
I would get a lab. I love labs. I have a black lab at home with my parents, and he's just the best.
Tell us about
Right
him.
now is not the time for me to get a dog, though. It would be selfish for me to get one. I wouldn't be home much. But I do want one in the future.
Can you tell us about the dog that you have at home with your parents?
Yeah, his name is Ranger, and he's a black lab, and we got him when I was in 7th grade. So he's getting up there in age, but he's just the sweetest dog ever. And like my favorite thing to do when I go home is to take him for walks, because he gets so happy and so excited. Even though he's not quite as mobile as he used to be, we still take him for walks, and it's just he just makes me smile. He's awesome.
They turn into puppies the second that you ask them if they want to go outside for a walk.
Yeah, exactly. Or like when I come home now, he runs out to my car when I come home, and he's like shaking his tail so hard, and he's like so excited. He's almost like whimpering because he's like so like excited about me being home. It's awesome.
The butt wiggles. The butt wiggles are the best.
Yeah. We trained him to go out to the mailbox to get the paper and bring it in. So that's a nice thing that I like to do. And when I'm home, I send him out to get the paper, and he brings it home, which is so cute.
Well, now that we've got you missing your dog,
Yeah.
that's all the time we have. Elena Denger, Wilkes University women's soccer alumni, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us.
Yeah. Thank you for thinking of me and for involving me in this. This is awesome.
Oh, no problem. Well, thank you for joining us, and hope you have continued success in your field.
Thank you. Thank you very much.